God seems to be real because you think to be real as a person. But the truth of your being is that you're nothing. And everything that appears as something is the movement of this nothing. The mind needs to come to terms with this in its own way. It might take time, as it took time to build up the mind, but it will not be necessary, even one action, to be this. Actions will be necessary to unveil this through the various circumstances of your life. But no action is required to make you be this truth, this awareness that is one in reality with everything and everybody, and already in peace with everything and everybody. You are home. You are the peace you are longing to have. You are the freedom you're longing to experience. You are the love you're longing to be embraced from. But you don't see it because your attention is completely captured by the manifestation. And in that way, the world seems to hide what you are. And you're looking for it in the word, creating a loop in which you cannot get out unless you recognize it as such, as the seeking will not lead you to finding, the seeking will lead you to seeking. The word you experience does not come from what you think. It's not a supernatural entity outside of you organizing the world for you. And it's neither the result of an arbitrary chaos that simply for no reason drew things in a certain way, leaving you as a person, as a lost being in a just casual existence. Both these affirmations are wrong. That supernatural being that the mind calls God seems to exist from the intuition that you are not a person. You have the intuition that something bigger than you is organizing this. And that's true, but it's not a separate entity, a supernatural being that will judge you at the end of your days. It's not a God as a separate thing. It is an awareness that lives in everyone and each one of us, experiencing itself in a different way, depending on the level of consciousness in which it's vibrating, depending on the understanding that has been already reached in the mind. And based on this, different states of consciousness appear. And also, the other hypothesis that everything is a random chaos in which you're just a person lost in a corner of the universe. Also this is not true, simply because you are not a person. And what you call arbitrary chaos is just the way in which the mind is representing what it knows it cannot control. So, it's neither destiny created by a supernatural entity or arbitrary chaos that we need to survive from. It is a consciousness, unbroken, that moves as things move, that grows as things grow, that speak, that acts, that learns, that breathes, that does all the actions you see through your being them. The universe is not an action that comes from doing. That's what is not so intuitive for the mind. The universe is an action that comes from being. And that's why we don't see clearly what we are, because we are used to look at everything as an action of doing. So we say, if I am not the one doing things, it must be something else doing them. Let's call it God. Let's call it consciousness. Still, we haven't been working out exactly as things are. Because in reality, it's not a person that is acting. And it's not something superior to a person acting. It's your being coming into manifestation and expressing itself as everything you see. Right now, in this room where you are experiencing your own consciousness into action. You are experiencing this word as an expression of your being. And the result of this is a word that is so complex in its own appearance that looks like it's animated by different beings, gifted with their own volition and moving in different directions that seem to be opposite to one another sometimes. The complexity of the universe is not the proof of different beings or different wills in action. The complexity of the universe is the expression of the magnificence of being. But it cannot be appreciated from the relative in its totality. It can be only be appreciated when it's seen through the absolute. The word absolute comes from Latin. It comes from absolutum. That means something that is free from any bondage, any binding. Something that is dissolved in its bindings. So the absolute is what is totally free. And in reality is you.